Good morning. Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. Also, thank you to everybody who's here. Good morning, Dan from Buford, Lauren coming in from Cumming. Wonderful to see you guys here. Let's all wish Josiah and Mandy a good trip. I know that they are on their way right now to making a new life over in Las Vegas. So I know they left yesterday. So let's all send some good intentions their way. Anyways, we are here today to say some good stuff about us, and it is getting to be the end of the week, and so I'm very excited for the weekend coming up. Let me tell you, it's been quite the week. But anyways, so we're gonna do what we do every morning and Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. I'm gonna pull a card off the top of the deck, ask you if you are the affirmation on the card, and we're going to respond out loud together. I am that affirmation. As we do this, good morning, Shauna. There we go. Good morning, Josiah. Wonderful to see you. Looks like you guys made it out to New Orleans already, or Nolans as it's called. Yeah, keep on driving safe. Keep on being awesome, and say hi to Mandy. But good morning, Lane. Good to see you here. All right, guys. So yeah, Pepper has selected another card, and so let's see where she takes the week. It was so funny. She asked me yesterday. She's like, "Where do you think the theme of the week is going?" And I'm like, "The theme of the week is going. We're tired and we just want to get some more sleep." is where the theme of the week is going. But so she laughed about that. So let's see what kind of a card that she picked for this for today as we join together and say that today I am transcendent. I am transcendent.
Transcending from the need for sleep.
Transcending the need for sleep? Yeah, I had no idea you could operate on this little sleep. Go figure. I see beyond this present awareness. So I am transcendent. I see beyond this present awareness. Are you transcendent? You are transcendent. You see beyond this present awareness. I'm going to write that down in the comments. And at the same time, I wish that Pepper had picked a simpler word to spell. Uh, let's see here. That I am transcendent. I see beyond this present awareness. And all right. So if you've watched the Awesome Saturday service at all, or if you've tuned into the wake up call for any length of time, you're probably well aware that one of my core beliefs is that what we perceive is not all that there is. That there are things that we cannot really describe, and that we experience. Things like feelings. Things like emotional states. Things like the spiritual things that aren't necessarily easily quantified, and yet they are very much a part of our human experience. Things that we can't entirely put words to, and yet they define us. Well, the one of the core things about being transcendent is understanding that just because we can't see something, or just because we can't define something, just because we don't have the words for it, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, and that these things are very much real, and we can know that this is true because we go into transcendent states on a pretty regular basis. If you've ever been daydreaming, and you've been in a transcendent state. If you've ever been driving down the highway and all of a sudden you blink, and perhaps Josiah can contest this, but have you ever just like come back into your own body and realize that you've driven 100 miles and wondered who on earth was doing the driving? Because it certainly wasn't your conscious awareness that was doing it. I used to do it all the time. I used to work very early, and I mean, I swear I would just blink and I'd get out of bed and I'd blink again, and I'd be at McDonald's for breakfast at 5:30 in the morning, and I'd blink again and it was 5:50 in the morning, and I was clocking into work, and I would wonder, I would have no conscious recollection of how I actually got to work. But of course, I had gotten to work and I had stopped by McDonald's, and I have had I I somehow made all the right turns. I somehow got where I was going. And yet when I tried to bring it to my memory, being like, well, what can I remember about my drive in? I couldn't remember anything at all about it. If you've ever fallen asleep and dreamed, which of course all of us have fallen asleep and had dreams, then we've been in a transcendent state. If we've ever used an intoxicant, then we are in a transcendent state. There are different modes that our consciousness operates in. And so the people who think that the only thing that exists is what we can quantify, is what we can scientifically prove exists. These people are denying basic biological reality, that what we perceive defines our reality, and because because we can choose what it is that we perceive, because we can choose what it is that we focus on, we are fully capable of transcending at any given time and moment. The every time that you've ever been in a meditative state, it's a type of transcendence. And so the fact is that we can understand that there is something beyond this present awareness. And if we believe that there's something about this beyond this present awareness, it's not too much of a leap to also believe that whatever is beyond this present awareness is good for us. I When I was younger, I used to fly airplanes, and one of the ways that you can fly an airplane is it's called IFR, or Instrument Flight Rules. So in IFR flight, you can fly using only the instruments on the airplane without needing to have the windshield, except for the very first part of the flight when you're keeping the airplane properly pointed down the runway, and you can typically see the runway, or the very last part of the flight where you're aiming you're aiming the airplane toward the runway, but you can typically only see the runway when it's about 1,000 feet in front of you, which is not a whole lot of space. But during the entire flight, uh, the properly equipped airplanes can fly without needing to use the windshield or the windows or anything like that. In fact, when we did the training, they would put the instructor would put these things on us called foggles, and a foggle was essentially just a set of eyeglasses that went over my existing eyeglasses, and it fogged out all the windows, so the instructor could still see. We were flying in a clear blue sky, but I could only see the instruments, and so the fact is that it is that airplanes are fully capable of doing this, and it's a big sky up there, so chances of hitting something else in that sky are fairly minimal. Hmm. Yeah, I can hear our lovely daughter being a little bit being a little bit fussy over there. But anyways, the fact is that because we can fly using only our instruments, we can think of our senses as being like the instruments on an airplane, in that what we perceive, which is the instrumentation on an airplane, is not what actually is. What actually is, when we're flying an airplane in the middle of a cloud, there really are fields and trees and forests and rivers and mountains. Try not to hit the mountains, and telephone poles and radio towers, and there's all this stuff that really is out there, and yet we can fly all the way across the country without having to perceive any of that stuff. We can fly all the way across the country only looking at those instruments, and airline transport pilots do this all the time. If you've ever been on a commercial flight, you were flying under instrument flight rules, whether the sky was blue or whether you were flying completely through a cloud. And so I view our senses, and I consider that our senses are the way that we perceive the world as being like the instruments in a cockpit. We don't really understand exactly what the world is about. We only understand what we perceive of it. And all the science that we can possibly do is ultimately limited by our perceptions and by the perceptions of the people who do the work. And all the instrumentation that we create is all created with the limitations of these perceptions. And so part of understanding that we are that we that there is a different awareness is recognizing that the world around us is the input from, or should I say, is the output from the instruments known as our senses, rather than assuming that the world around us is as it is. And this makes it easier to understand that there is a different present awareness, and that there are different ways of perceiving whatever it is that we are currently perceiving. that our eyes are limiting things, that our ears are limiting things. They aren't things that expand our consciousness. They're actually things that contract our consciousness. So I am transcendent, and you are transcendent as well when we can see beyond that, when we can understand beyond that, when we can intuit beyond that, when we can trust things that we can't necessarily put words on, when we can trust things that we call that a pump fart. Pepper says that she's not pumping her boobies right now, that we've decided to start indoor beekeeping. It's a new hobby. It's great. You might
That's
hear
what the buzzing
That's
is.
what the buzzing is. uh, anyhow, the fact is that, guys, as we once we recognize that there are other ways that we can perceive whatever is around us, it gives us so much more license to have faith that whatever is around us is good for us. And so I am transcendent today. I see beyond this present awareness, and you are as well. And so when we consider what's going to happen in the future, we are seeing beyond this present awareness. When we think about what happened in the past, we see beyond this present awareness. Whenever we close our eyes and blink, even for a moment, there is a different perception that comes upon us, and the world that we blinked on when we closed our eyes is not the same one that is here when we open it. And so let's have faith that everything is working out for us. Let's have faith that things are working out for our good. Let's have faith that the beyond that we cannot put words into right now, that beyond is something that is good for us, and that is and when we think about how the present moment has always sustained us, let's recognize that we are that our conscious awareness, even though it's currently crystallized in these human forms, that our conscious awareness has always been and will always be. And this really helps us to get rid of any pettiness in our lives. It helps us to get rid of any small thinking or any small mindedness, and open up our minds and our hearts to the people in the world around us. All right, so I'm going to go and handle my lovely, wonderful, beautiful daughter Persephone, who's deciding that she's going to be fussy at this exact moment. I love you. I appreciate you. I care about you. I think you guys are amazing. So, and good morning again to everybody who has come by. Thanks for being here. To Lauren, Dan, Shauna, Josiah, Lane, Tony. Let's see here. Think that's I think that's the everybody. Yep. All right. So talk to you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. We'll come back with another recap of these. But until then, I love you. I appreciate you. I care about you. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Aloha from paradise.